Pokemon Scarlet Violet's previews have now dropped, and there's loads of new information to go through regarding these games. Lots of stuff has been allowed to come out and now be known to the public, and other stuff has been kept secret until later, like new Pokemon. However, there's a lot of cool new information about shiny Pokemon and shiny rates and how you can control them, as well as a lot of other things you get control, a lot of quality of life improvements for these games, and we're going to talk about it now with a lot of brand new gameplay footage. Let's go. Okay, so first of all, this is all footage that has been given to a bunch of different people. It's stock kind of content footage produced by Pokemon, played through by Pokemon staff, and given to other people to preview. Some people did get to play the game themselves, however, they were not allowed to show new footage. Nobody was, so all the new footage here has been given to them for release. So this is all a lot of brand new footage either way. There's a lot of stuff to go through. Now let's go through some of the new features for this game. Now there's a Pokemon that I'm not entirely... Have we seen that? Oh yeah, that's an old Pokemon. That's an old one. Don't worry. That'll turn into Pavilion. We will get a whole raft of Pavilions coming back. There'll be all the different forms, and expecting shinies as well. So there's a lot of Pavilions to go through and collect in this game. That's going to be fun. As for shiny Pokemon in general, they are in the overworld, just like in Pokemon Legends Arceus. It is correct, Pokemon Legends Arceus was very much an experiment for this game, and a lot of things from Pokemon Legends Arceus are coming back. The shinies visible in the overworld is one of them that is now being confirmed, which is nice to know because you will not have to hunt or engage, just like in Pokemon Sword and Shield, and not know it's a shiny until you actually engage in the battle. You will be able to see them straight up right before you do that. So it's super convenient to be able to just run around the open world, and a lot of it is open world. It's really cool. That's just going to make shiny hunting much, much easier for everyone. When you finally get Koraidon and Miraidon and be able to ride around on them, unlike Pokemon Legends Arceus, you're going to have all of the mobility options available to you. Climbing, swimming, flying, and riding. All of those will be completely available once you get Koraidon and Miraidon. So that's sweet. You will not have to do gimmicks. You will not have to be, I suppose, staggered and have to progress through the game to unlock those different things bit by bit. Because I think in Pokemon Legends Arceus, by the time you got the final ability, which was like flying, it was the best one to get around by far. The game was already pretty much over, so I mean, but still, you could still use it for shiny hunting and going back and all that. It was very helpful. Either way, in Pokemon Scarlet Violet, that is not the case. You'll have all the mobility options straight away. There's one big loading zone in the game. That is going to be the central city, which you can see right there on screen. Once you go there, that is a loading zone that is separated from the open world, which is the entirety, the rest of the map, which is sick. That's just a lot of open world. That's actually a much more open world than I was expecting, because I know Pokemon were marketing this as a open world game, but knowing Nintendo and Pokemon, there's probably going to be quite significant limits to that. It doesn't look like that's really the case. There's a few, alright? So there's the main loading zone, which is the central city, and then there's a couple of side loading zones for some of the events with like Team Star and such. So we'll be able to see that happening, but mostly almost all the rest of the world is actually fully open, which I think is extreme. Now that is going to bring us to another point which some of the previewers have talked about, which is poor performance. They got to play a demo, and they did say the performance was very poor, and that's something you might expect with an open world on a Switch. Alright, but I guess we'll have to wait and see what they make for the final version. It's not that far off, guys, and I'm pretty sure the final version's finished. However, they might be able to fix a lot of the issues in the Day 1 patch. So we'll see about that, alright? We will see about that. Either way, as for their experience, it was poor performance. Another feature from PLA that has made a comeback is being able to change the Pokemon's names and teach them moves from the comfort of your own bag. So that's exactly like Pokemon Legends Arceus. It's super convenient. And not only that, you'll also be able to change your Pokemon from the comfort of your own bag, which is something we were able to do in some of the recent games as well. So it's much more convenient. You will be able to just swap them out while you're out in the open world. You won't have to visit Poke Centers. There's not really much of a use for a PC. That's kind of a big deal. It's going to be much, I suppose it's a quality of life thing that just makes everything a lot easier. Picnics are much bigger deal in this game. You're able to get experience and build friendship with your Pokemon by just having picnics. We also know that's going to be the method to actually get eggs out of, so we've seen that in some of the recent trailers. However, while you're in a picnic, you can make sandwiches, and that's a big one too. You're going to be able to increase shiny rate spawns by making certain sandwiches. You're also going to be able to select certain Pokemon that you increase spawns of and encounter rates by making making certain sandwiches. So sandwiches look like they have extraordinarily useful use in this game. You're going to actually want to do them, because it's for curries. You didn't get squat, right? You didn't do anything. It was fine. It was just for a curry deck. It was just sort of a gimmick. I didn't even do it, actually. But either way, in this game, you will want to be doing it if you want to increase your shiny rate, which is going to be probably choice number 1. And I'm looking forward to being able to cover all those guides and stuff for you. So drop a sub if you want to check out the guides when those go live to show you how you can do that from early on, so you can increase the best chances to get those shinies out in the wilderness, which you're going to be able to see before you encounter the Pokemon. So sweet. Another feature is, unlike Sword and Shield, the time of day is something you can actually forcibly change in the game. You don't have to do the switch home settings thing anymore, and you're only going to be able to do it in the game. We'll see actually how the switch day change actually works in this game. Does it affect anything? But either way, as for the time of day, you can choose it in the game, so it's not bound to the 24-hour system like some of the past games, and it's not bound by your switch clock. It's just something you're going to be able to do yourself. There are 2 different types of battles in the game, which we know from trailers. You can do auto battles and just sending your Pokemon out to do it all for you, and it's going to be a lot quicker. However, that does reduce the amount of experience you get by a lot. So if you want to just breeze through a bunch of weak Pokemon, not concerned about the experience, auto battles is going to be for you, right? That's going to be the obvious choice. Or if you want to farm items, it's the obvious choice. Or if you're looking to maximize the experience and level up, you're going to have to do the battle the old-fashioned way. So that's going to be a little bit of a different experience for everyone. You can see him there. He just did an auto battle. That's going to give you very little experience, which is fine. Like, as you can see, you got like 6, and there's another one. If you want to get more experience, you'll just have to fight them properly. As for fighting trainers, you have to talk to the trainers to initiate a battle. They're not going to automatically initiate a battle by walking in front of them. That's just not going to happen anymore. You have to talk to them, but they will be visible with a glowing Pokeball in their hand when you go over to them, so you'll be able to recognize who's ready to battle and who isn't. There's a lot of different customizations in the game. You get massive customization options at the beginning, from the beginning, for both your clothes and your hair and your eyes and your face and all that stuff, which is nice. On top of that, there's also 4 sort of seasonal uniforms, so it looks like there's going to be a seasonal change thing going on in this game. But you'll have 4 main seasonal uniform changes that you can also customize pretty extensively in the game. So that's something we'll have to have a look at again. But it looks like for the facial details and the hair details that you can change, there's much bigger options than in Pokemon Sword and Shield by far, as well as any other game that we've seen perhaps. So looking forward to being able to experiment with that. We're probably going to be able to see a lot of different characters looking very different when we do co-op and stuff together on our channel. Another feature coming back from Pokemon Legends Arceus is being able to hit Pokemon from behind and getting a small advantage, a time advantage that is. So you will be able to strike them from behind, maybe catch them off guard and get a extra 2 turns or something like that. I'm not sure how that's going to affect catching them per se, but I hope it's going to give you an advantage in catching them too, make it easier to catch, so you'll be able to use more exotic balls to be able to just get a higher catch rate, to be able to just make it worthwhile actually using the exotic balls, having farmed them in the first place, because sometimes it takes a lot of work to try and get those exotic balls, like say Safari balls or sports balls or something like that, and then you can't catch them. It's just too hard. The catch rate's too low. But we'll see about hitting them from behind and seeing what the catch rate is like after that. Terra raids are epic. I mean, we know a lot of this already. It looks like Terra raids are going to allow everyone to attack all at the same time. You don't have to wait around. It's not turn-based like in Pokemon Sword and Shield, so you won't have issues with trolls. You won't have people with going AFK. You'll be able to take the initiative and just keep attacking the Terra raids, and anyone who's with you is here. They'll be able to do it as well, so you won't be staggered by other people. You won't be dependent upon waiting for other people. That's going to make it a lot more streamlined, a lot smoother to actually do raids together, and a much more wholesome experience for everyone as well, just to enjoy it without getting frustrated with each other. Another thing is terrestrial Pokemon can actually be found in the wild. I think we saw something similar to that in one of the trailers where they encountered a Jigglypuff that was sort of glowing, and that initiated a terrestrial raid, or rather a terrestrial battle. So it might be like that, and maybe other than that you might be able to see terrestrial Pokemon with the actual candle on. I'm not 100% sure. We don't actually have footage of that, but there's a lot of terrestrial stuff on screen at the moment, and I don't know, the raids are going to be pretty fun. I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of exploits come out of it. Team Star battles are going to be very similar to what you have already experienced with fighting the villains or old gym leader battles, right? It's pretty much the same gimmick, right? It's just an extra layer of gyms, which kind of makes it feel like perhaps you're going to have 16 gyms if they do in fact do it that number, right? If you have 8 team star leaders to go through and you also have 8 gyms, it'll probably end up feeling like 16 gyms, something similar to that. But we'll see what they make of it. It's going to have different gimmicks to the other gyms, of course. We already know that much. And we also fight the car, for example, separately from the gym leader or the team star leader. So that's going to be a different battle, and I have heard they're pretty difficult from the previewers, so you're going to want to go in fairly prepared. I think it's kind of nice. It's a little variation on what you got, and it also gives you more content to go through throughout the entire game anyway. So there's a lot from this preview, folks. I hope you enjoyed what you heard, and I hope to see you around for some of the guides, exploits, giveaways, and all the glitches and wonderful things that comes from Pokemon Scarlet Violet in less than a month. As for the preview games having been out now, we could expect the game to actually leak any day. So people have been putting a timeline about a week or 2 weeks. Yeah, we'll be looking very carefully for when this actually drops. We'll be getting leaks, likely the whole Pokedex, likely a lot of other information coming out very quickly from data mines and so on. And I'll be covering that all stuff here as well, but don't worry, I will be giving you guys a spoiler warning right at the start and right in the thumbnail and in the title, so you don't get confused and you don't actually get exposed to spoilers if you don't want to. So stick around, drop a sub if you're interested in that, and I'll see you around in the next video. Hope you enjoyed some of the footage here, this one, and until the next time, guys, have a good one. Bye!